Hi, this is Books with Brushu. I'm your host, Jordan, and I like to drink coffee and read books. Thank you for clicking on this video. I hope you're having a wonderful day. So today I am going to be talking about the books that are a priority for me in 2026. Every year I make a priority TBR of books that have been on my shelf for a long time. Books that I've been really wanting to read, books in series, to try to get through the books that I have in my house. So these are a wide variety of books. And basically how I use this list is if on the spinner wheel TBRs that I do every month, which I will link below the January spinner wheel TBR if you haven't seen one of those before. Every month for my monthly TBRs, I spin various wheels to pick what books are going to be on my TBR. So some of the slices are publication year, free pick, book in a series, finish a series, start a series, things like that. Or different genres. So I have a genre wheel that has a bunch of different genres on it. Kind of wild spins like that. And so if I get any of those, like publication year, my first go-to will be to check out my 2026 TBR to see which books on that list were published in that year. Then if there's not one on that list, I will go elsewhere. Same thing for free pick, same thing for genre, etc. This is just a 2026 priority TBR. It is not 26 books to read in 2026. It's not that. I actually have 45 books on this list. And I don't necessarily get through them throughout the year, and there's no punishment or anything like that. There's no reward if I get through all of them, other than I've read some great, hopefully great books. Since there are 45, I'm gonna try to go through this pretty quickly and not explain them or read the synopses of them, because we wanna try to get through this as fast as we can. I always try to put some classics on my list just because those aren't my go-tos. I don't, I don't gravitate towards them. I don't pick them on purpose, unfortunately, even though I love classics and I especially love Jane Austen. So putting Sense and Sensibility on the 2026 TBR. Next is And Now Back to You by B.K. Borison. This is the second book in her Heartstrings series, and it comes out in, I think, February. So I read the first book in the series, First Time Caller, earlier this year and really enjoyed it. So one of my other goals is to get through books on series. So a lot of the books on this list are the next book in series that I've already started. Then we've got The Next Mrs. Parrish, which is Mrs. Parrish book 2. I finished the first Mrs. Parrish, I believe, in November, and I really enjoyed it. So got that one on the list. Then I've got The First Time I Saw Him by Laura Dave. That is the second book in the Hannah Hall series. The first book is The Last Thing He Told Me, which I listened to it on audio. I enjoyed it. I didn't realize that there was going to be another one, so that book just came out. Then I've got The Choice and the Club by Gillian Dodd, and those are books 7 and 8 in the London Prep series. So I read book 6, and I enjoy the series, and it's high school drama. American Girl moves to London. I've talked about it in a couple of my videos before, but I really enjoy the series and want to finish it. I think there are 9 books, so trying to make them a priority this year. Then I've got The Enchanted Greenhouse by Sarah Beth Durst. This is book 2 in the Spell Shop series. I read book 1, The Spell Shop, in November, and I really enjoyed it. I liked it so much more than I thought I would. Cute, cozy, definitely like gives fall cozy vibes. So I've got the second book in that series on my list. Then I've got Twisted 26 and also Fortune and Glory, which is Tantalizing 27 by Janet Vanovich. Now these are both books in the Stephanie Plum series, and I have been reading this series since I was in high school. So over the years, I have gotten a little behind in the books. So obviously, let's see, when was book 26 published? She publishes one book a year. So this was published in 2019 and published in 2020. So I'm a little bit behind, but I've got these on the list as priorities for this year. Then also by Janet Ivanovic, it's the 4th book in the full series, and that is Full Blast. Now, I read the first 3 books in this series many years ago, many years ago, and I don't really remember anything about them. And we're just gonna see how this goes. If it gets picked for the TBR, then that's great. And if I don't really enjoy it, then that's fine too. But maybe I will enjoy it. We just don't know. It's been a long time since I've read this series. Need to get it finished up. Then I have some books in the Outlander series. So if you watched my, I think it was July Spinner Wheel TBR, you would know that I got Outlander book 7, An Echo in the Bone, on my TBR. And I did read it. I got quite a bit of the way through it in that month. And I didn't finish that book until the end of December. It took me a long time to get through that book. Mostly because it's a really long book. I had other priorities. I've been doing a lot of seasonal reading vlogs. I got a bunch of other books on my TBR that I really wanted to read, and unfortunately that one just kind of went to the wayside. But I did get it finished. So I have book 7.5, The Space Between, and book 8, Written in Our Own Heart's Blood, on my 2026 TBR. Book 9 is out. As of right now, we do not have a release date for book 10, so we'll see. But these are hefty books, so I would like to get through that novella and then book 8. We'll see. And then I have the next 2 books in the Dream Harbor series. We've got The Strawberry Patch Pancake House, which is book number 4, and book 5, The Gingerbread Bakery by Lori Gilmore. And I read the first 3 books in this series for seasonal reading vlogs in September, November, and December. And I really enjoyed this author's writing. I really enjoy this town and these stories. They're cute, cozy, seasonal themed romances that I personally enjoy. That's why those next 2 are on the list. We've got one, The Strawberry Patch Pancake House, which is like a spring summery one, and then Gingerbread Bakery, which is another Christmas one. Then Graceless Heart by Isabella Banez. This was actually the Fairy Loot book for January. I really like Isabella Banez's writing. I read the Secrets of the Nile duology last year, super enjoyed it, loved the author's writing, loved the characters, loved the historical fiction aspect of it, and it was a different kind of magic system that I really enjoyed. So excited to check out her, I believe it's Italian Renaissance period book, new release. Then we've got Yours Truly, Just for the Summer, and The Situationship, which are all in the Part of Your World series by Abby Jimenez. It's books 2, 3, and 3.5. 3.5 is just a short free novella that you can find online. But I read Part of Your World last summer, something like that, and really enjoyed it. Loved the author's writing, loved the story. So I really want to continue and also finish this series. Then we've got Warrior Princess Assassin Book 2 by Bridget Kemmerer. I absolutely loved the first book, like loved it, 5 stars, love the characters, love the storyline, love everything about it, love everything that's going on, and I need that book now. Need it now. So I just loved it so much. Then The Exquisite Torment of Loving Your Enemy by Brigitte Knightley, which is the 2nd book in the Dearly Beloved series. And that is also supposed to be released in 2026. It's the 2nd book in the duology. Loved the first book. Cannot wait to read the 2nd book. I think I rated the first book like 4.25 or 4.5. I really enjoyed it, so I cannot wait for the 2nd book. Then we've got Nocticadia by Carrie Lake. I love Carrie Lake's writing. I love her story building. I love her characters. Anathema and Eldritch are some of my most favorite books of all time. So I cannot wait to jump into Nocticadia. I can't wait to jump into this author's writing, see what a different world, different setting is like for this author. So super excited to jump into Nocticadia. This is the newer edition that just came out in December, I think. Maybe at the end of November. I can't remember. Anyway, so excited to read more by Carrie Lake. So excited. Road Trip with a Vampire, which is book 3 in the My Vampire series by Jenna Levine. I've read the first 2, really enjoyed them. Cute romances about vampires and humans. I think this one is actually has a witch, so maybe a witch and a vampire. You don't necessarily have to read them during spooky season, but definitely give the vibes. So then the 4th book in the Assistant to the Villain series, which is Adversary to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Mayer. I can't wait to see how the story ends. I think this is the last book in the series. I'm not sure, but some things happened at the end of book 3 that I need to know the answers to. And now book 3 was not my favorite. I liked books 1 and 2 better. Book 3 was okay. I cannot wait to see what happens in book 4. Then we've got a couple of books by Jodi Ellen Malpass. She is an author that I've loved for many, many years. She writes romances. I love her writing. I love her characters. So a couple more that she has written. Since she's an indie author, she puts out publications so quickly. So I'm trying to catch up. I've got The Forbidden and Gentleman Sinner on my list. Really am excited to get into more of her writing because it's been a while since I've read one of her books. Then, y'all, I need to read this book. A Clash of Kings by George R.R. Martin. I read, what's it called? Why can't I remember? Game of Thrones. I read Game of Thrones a long, long, long time ago. A long, long, long time ago. And I don't want to reread it. I just need to finish the series. Even though the last book's not out yet. So am I really in a rush? I'm not really sure. I don't know. Or the next book, last book, we don't know. We don't know. Anyway, this book has been on my TBR for so long. I just need to do it. I just need to break down and just do it. Just read it, Jordan. Then I've got When I Kill You by B.A. Paris. I love B.A. Paris's thrillers. They're so good. They're always a good time. The characters, you hate the characters and you love some of the, you mostly hate the characters. Love some of them. Always a good time. I always read her books pretty much as soon as they come out, within the first couple of months. This is the only book of hers that I have not read. Then I have Banana Pants by Penny Reed. I love this author. I read her Winston Brothers series. She also has a Knitting in the City series, which I still need to read. I love her writing. I love her characters. So just trying to get through some authors that I love and read more of their books. Then I've got Witness in Death and also Judgment in Death by J.D. Robb. These are books 10 and 11 in the In Death series. Police procedural, set in the future. They've got flying cars. They're basically like microwaves, but they give you a hot cooked like fast food meal. You order it and then it just like comes out of the microwave hot and ready to go. I enjoy these books. I like the main female character, Eve Dallas, and her husband, Rourke. Sometimes police procedurals get a little boring to me. They just do. So I'm trying to get through these books. There are so many in this series. I'll never finish this series. I know that. I know I'll never finish this series, but you know what? I'm trying to get through the books that are on my shelves, and these are 2 books that are on my shelves. So got the next 2 in that series on the list. Then I've got Wild Reverence by Rebecca Ross, which I do actually have this book. I just forgot to grab it off the shelf. This is a prequel in the Letters of Enchantment series, which was Divine Rivals and Ruthless Vows. So this is a prequel. I think it's about the gods that are spoken about in that duology. So need to see what that one's about, because I've had a bunch of these books on my shelves for so long, and I need to read them. I've got Safe Haven by Nicholas Sparks. Now, I always love these books. I always love them, but 9 times out of 10, they make me cry. Sob, like hardcore cry. So I tend to put them off because I don't ever feel like crying. So just trying to get through some because I always enjoy this story. So I just need to buck up and just read them. So I've got Safe Haven on the list. Then we've got Untamed by S.C. Stevens, which is book 5 in the Thoughtless series. Now, I read the first 4 books in this series a long time ago. A long time ago. And they're so good. The first 3 books are so, so good. They're so good. The reason that I haven't continued with this book 5 is because it's about one of the other band members who I didn't really love. So I've just kind of been putting it off and putting it off. But I need to finish it so that I can read the other 2 books that are in the series and get the series finished. Like, come on, Jordan. Then I've got 2 books in a series where I just recently read the first one. So I've got The Kiss Curse and The Wedding Witch, which are books 2 and 3 in the X-Hex series by Erin Sterling. Now, I read the X-Hex in, it was either October or November. I read it for a reading vlog, and I did really enjoy it. So I want to get the other 2 on this series, or read this year. Then I've got The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. Now, I've had this book on my Kindle forever. I've had it on my Kindle for so long, and I've heard a lot of good things about it. So I decided to throw that on the list just so that I could maybe finally get it read. Then I have a handful of books by Tejan. She is one of my most favorite authors. She has written some of the best books I've ever read. I have loved every single book that I've read of hers, every single one. I enjoy her characters, I enjoy her writing, I enjoy the storylines and the plots and everything about her books. Books are always so deep. Always so deep. There's always so much angst and turmoil and problems and issues and love and found family. And I just love every single one of her books I have ever read. I've thrown a couple of books of hers on my list to get through. So I've got Anti-Stepbrother, Hate to Love You, Canary, and then also the last 2 books in the Fallen Crest world. So I've got My Anti-Hero, which is kind of a spin-off. It's got some characters that were briefly mentioned in the main Fallen Crest series. And then also Cade, which is the last book in Fallen Crest. I'm sure it's got Mason and Logan and Samantha and Taylor and everybody. That will be the end of an era. That's for sure. That's for sure. Then I've got The Sword of Kaigan by M.L. Wong. I've never actually read an M.L. Wong book, and I've heard so many good things about it. I've got Sword of Kaigan and Blood Over Brighthaven, and I have not read either of them, and they're standalone fantasies, so it's the perfect opportunity to be one and done with a book. So I put Sword of Kaigan on my list. Then I have A War of Wyverns by S.F. Williamson, which is the second book in the Language of Dragons series. I believe it's a duology, as far as I know. A War of Wyverns just came out. However, I did pre-order this Fairy Loot edition, which is not supposed to be here until February or March. So I don't have it physically in my hands yet, but I want to get through that book because it's a duology, and then I'll be done, and then I won't have forgotten what happened in the first book because I read the first book in November. I read the first book in November, and it was so good. It was so good, you guys. I loved it. So I want to make sure that I keep caught up and I don't forget. And since it's a duology, I just have to read the second book and then I'm done. Okay, then the last book on this list. Last one, guys. Last one. I've got Uncharmed by Lucy Jane Wood, which is the second book in the Rewitched series. Now, I listened to Rewitched, I believe in October, for my Reading Halloween Books reading vlog. I think it was either October or November. It was either my Halloween reading vlog or my fall reading vlog. And I enjoyed it. I really liked the characters. I wish it had had a little bit more romance in it, but I still enjoyed the storyline. So this one, it's, I think, interconnected standalone. It's set in the same world, but it doesn't have any of the same people, I think. So since it's the second book in the series, I got it on my list. Trying to get through some series and trying to get through some books that I have had on my shelves for a long time. So y'all, that brings us to the end of the list. I know it was rapid fire. I didn't want to sit here forever and read out every single synopsis and explain them all to you. So if you want to rewind it back and pause and go look them up on Goodreads, please do so. But I'm super excited to read these books. I really hope that I can get to them in 2026. And I cannot wait to see what the year has in store for us for reading. So if you want to see more of my videos, especially my seasonal themed reading vlogs, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the video next week. Bye.